Okay, there we go. It just got really dark there for a second.
Oh, okay. All right. Welcome to season 3 here of Shame-Ful Locks. We are back. It feels good.
Football season, baby.
It does. It does start. College football starts the second. Oh, actually, no, it just happened. Week 0. Sorry. Yeah. Which I'm not going to ignore week 0. We got to give week 0 the respect.
How about Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck?
I hate Florida State. I'm betting on them. They suck. DJU, possibly the worst quarterback out there.
He's going to be working at Arby's next year. That's what I heard.
Probably White Castle. Arby's didn't want him.
Okay.
But like I said, we're back and it feels good. This is our 3rd season. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago that we're going to have to repeat this, but rumor has it, program's on thin ice. Our supreme leader here is said we were renewed, but I don't know.
I need some bigger numbers in season 3 if we're gonna jump the hump into season 4. So obviously that's on you guys. You know, you guys are the star of the show. I just sit behind a screen and paste these works of art together. But yeah, gonna need some big performances out of you guys this year. I know Blake had the fantastic run last year of those Shame-Ful Locks. How many did he win in a row? He got
I think it was 8 or 9.
8 or 9 in a row. Yeah. You know, those are the type of performances that cement your legacy in programs. And I need some more of those out of you guys. You know, I need those plays being made left and right. I know you're capable. Just got to go out there and show me.
Thank you. So that's what gives me faith that we will be back for a season 4, hopefully. But a lot has happened over the off season. I bought a house. I shaved my head. Blake moved to a whole other state. Correct?
He did. We're not going to state what state that is, but
he's in another state of mind, if you will.
Not the New York state of mind, though.
No, not that one. That's for me.
The opposite.
But we are back. We're going to go ahead and give you some of our preseason future bets. These are the bets that we'll be providing that will be going all season long. It'll be, for example, somebody to throw X amount of touchdowns over the season, over under, or a team to get X amount of wins. Real quick before we jump into that, I'll go over some of the stats we had last year. Blake went 2-1 on his last year, but one of them did involve Cooper Kupp. Oof. Which was brutal. He got hurt. So again, these are the dangerous plays you get into when you get into future bets. One of these players you bet on gets hurt and you're toast. Tim can attest to that because one of his bets was Aaron Rodgers passing yards. How did that work?
Really well.
He didn't get a refund.
I should have bet on over under 0.5 Achilles torn.
Plus 2,000.
Should have taken the over on that one. He did have the greatest entrance to any game all season, though, running out with the American flag up there in New Jersey, I guess technically, but New York on 9/11, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that bet hurt. That's done.
You guys both went 2-1 on your future plays last year. I went 1-2, but I made the mistake of doubling down and betting on the Jags twice. I had Calvin Ridley receiving yards and Jags over wins. Only one of them cashed. They got cursed by the terrible towel. But last year, full year recap, Blake finished positive 14.44 units. I finished. I was in a big slump. I sucked the first half of last season. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But
can't have that again this year.
No, I cannot. I had a terrible start. I was down like negative, I think, almost 10 units at one point. But dang, did I have a good second half in playoffs because I finished positive 2.58 units on the season. So positive, if you will. And our supreme leader here, I think you only gave us, hold on, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only appeared in 5 episodes last year, but those picks mattered because you also had your first winning season. You finished positive 1.5 units on the season.
It's huge. That's big for me.
Which is huge because, again, this is season 3. Season 1, you had the worst. I think you were down by like 20.
Then again, I was focusing most of my energy on the collegiate side of the ball.
That's true.
And betting a lot of college, which is, as we know, pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially early in the season. So I kind of dug myself a hole that I couldn't really climb out of that first season. But yeah, last year, you know, I think I focused more on quality, not quantity.
I was exactly about to say that
with my appearances being so few and far between. But you know, a performance that the GM is going to be happy to look at for sure.
Yeah. And man, I'm just so excited for this format. We're going to go ahead with. This is what we tried to stick with last year. So we're each going to give one team pick where we're going to say we think the team either makes the playoffs, wins.
This is starting next week
for the futures.
Oh, okay.
For the futures we're about to give.
Okay.
But our usual format, like I said, is teams over under of win total, one player prop, which would just be like over under touchdowns, yards, whatnot. And then lastly, which will be our shameful lock, which we track those as a different category. It's our best bet. Mm-hmm. It's our, if you were going to take one pick of ours, that's the bet we say to take. So without further ado, we've each got 3 of these to give out. Blake, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Get us rolling.
Yeah, I'll start. Let's rock with our player props first, if that's cool with you guys.
I can do that.
So I'm going to go with the guy. Terrible team last year. They were terrible right after Aaron Rodgers got hurt, coincidentally. So I'm taking Breece Hall over 1,025.5 rushing yards, and I got that at minus 112 on FanDuel. So as we know, Jets offense last year was pretty dog shit. Zach Wilson, it was awful to watch. I don't know why anyone would ever watch that, but we still did. He ended with 994 yards last year on 4.5 yards a carry, which was pretty good for that terrible offense. So I have high hopes for this offense this coming year just because Rodgers will be back and they got some more weapons, upgraded their O-line. Breece Hall is just a freak athlete, and I think he should be able to crush this line if everyone stays healthy. And the Jets should be competitive this year. So I think he kills it.
I like that one. I'm probably going to end up tailing that one, I'll be honest with you, just because I know Breece Hall is really expected to have a huge season. And I do want to mention a lot of these lines, it definitely matters on what book you go for because a lot of these lines fluctuate a lot. I think we saw this line, give or take an extra 50 yards plus minus. I mean, the odds definitely change with the stat that you go with. But, I mean, if you always want to buy it down to maybe just 1,000 yards, you could do that for probably minus 125-ish, minus 130-ish. Mm-hmm. It's always important. I always preach it to shop around, use many books because you get a lot of different options. And Tim, your player prop.
Yeah. So look, this one was, my player props are always kind of up in the air. I don't know. It's so hard. Obviously we spoke kind of to the difficulty of season long futures. Obviously I had a really bad break last year, but at the end of the day, what I like to kind of fall back on in betting is just going with your gut. And my gut told me this year that there's a fella down in Nashville, Tennessee that's going to have quite a season. Didn't show us too much last year once he got the reins, but I think there's going to be something to show for him this year. And so I went with Will Levis over 3,400.5 passing yards this season. Look, I think this kid's got a cannon. That's not a secret. We saw it at UK. We definitely saw it in his first appearance last year. And with the Titans kind of being in a more, I don't know, rebuild, not really rebuild. They get rid of a longtime head coach and obviously a franchise player in Derrick Henry last year. So, some of that situation says, well, maybe they don't have that successful of a year. The other part of that situation, you look at it and you go, well, there's going to be a lot of the offensive focus is going to be on Will Levis. And with that, I think he rises to the occasion and gets to that stat mark. My biggest thing is it doesn't matter if the team does well. With your player prop, you're looking at the stats, and I think the situation he's in lends itself to him pushing the ball down the field a lot more and looking to prove himself. First full season coming off an off season where everyone's known he's the starter. So
yeah, and I think that's an interesting pick because I don't know how good the Titans are going to be this year. I think their division's gotten a lot harder, and I think that's actually a good thing for him in the aspect of if his team is losing, you need to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And he has
from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got good receivers. He's got Calvin Ridley. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. Mm-hmm. I forget the name of their third guy. They traded AJ Brown to get. You remember Blake?
Treylon Burks.
Thank you.
He's a shifty guy. I mean, kind of quick route runner type dude.
I think so.
I don't know. I just saw something. It didn't sound like he was having a good preseason, but you still got Ridley. You still got D-Hop.
Okay, so at least we're not talking bad about Will Levis yet, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll come in a couple weeks when he has 100 yards through 3 weeks or something like that.
And hopefully he plays more than 4 snaps.
Yeah. We'll see. These quarterback over passing yards bets might be my kryptonite. So we'll see. That might just be a death wish for that player.
Hey, we'll find out. There's only one way to find out. And for my player prop this year in the preseason future bet, I'm going with a Bengals quarterback who I'm not a Bengals fan. Definitely not. Just don't want to get that mixed up here. But I'm going with Joe Burrow over 27.5 passing touchdowns. I got that at minus 115 on Bet365. And I just really like this one because I think it's kind of low. Joe Burrow last year, I think he only played about half the season because he destroyed his wrist or forearm or something like that. I remember it happening against the Ravens, and he only finished with 15 passing touchdowns last year. Joe Burrow, in his 2 full seasons where he's been healthy and played the entire season, he's destroyed this line of 27.5. He had 34 and 35 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to go way over that if he continues to be healthy and be the Joe Burrow I know he can be. Mm-hmm. I know they got that Burton guy from Alabama who's been pretty good, and then they still have Jamar Chase and
can't forget him,
T. Higgins.
Yeah.
So I think the Bengals are going to come back. I think they're going to be a good force in the AFC. Hopefully not in the AFC North, but I think he's going to shatter that over 27.5 passing touchdowns this season.
Yeah, I mean, just with the weapons he has, and he's a good player. I don't like the Bengals either, but I was actually looking at his props too. But since you took them, wouldn't it be great if we both took the same prop?
Yeah, that would be so stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, I really like that line. It's not an argument that Joe Burrow is one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. That stat that you brought up of his 2 full seasons is pretty telling. I think that that makes this bet a no-brainer. Obviously the looming injury factor is the only thing really to worry about, I think, in my mind. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both in a situation. Obviously there's been a lot of drama this preseason with their contract talks and things like that. But, what you kind of see of players in that situation is, these contract years is they need to go out and perform, whether they want to look at a contract somewhere else or renewal at their team they're with now, they need to put a good performance out there. And so I think that paired with Joe Burrow's, inarguable greatness, makes that a pretty good bet. So.
Thank you. Blake, you want to go ahead and give us your, I think it's the, I'm blanking on the name here.
Team
future bet. Duh.
Yeah. All right. So just talking about the Bengals, we hate the Bengals. Going to go to another team I hate, and that is the Cleveland Browns. I hate taking unders, but I hate the Browns more. Give me Browns under 8.5 wins. I got that line on DraftKings for plus 115. And let's be honest, Deshaun Watson, he's done. He's terrible. Hasn't been good since 2020. I don't think he's magically going to get any better. They got lucky with a lot of their wins last year. For example, San Fran, they shouldn't have won that game. Like the Jake Moody missed a 40-yarder, 30-yarder at the end of the game. I think the biggest thing is no Nick Chubb. That absolutely kills their offense. He is the heart and soul of that offense. I think they're going to have trouble scoring points this year. Their Drum Ford, whoever their backup is, he's pretty mid. And of course, the Browns under 8.5 wins.
Yeah. Tim, I think you'd like to talk about that one.
Yeah, I took the opposite. I went ahead and took the Browns over 8.5 season-long wins. That's at minus 135, 132 or something
138.
Like that. 138 is what I got it on FanDuel. Look, to those arguments that you made there, Blake, I want to agree with the concerns on the offensive side of the ball. I think that, obviously we haven't seen anything, that prove to this point that proves to us that the Browns made a good decision, paying Deshaun all that money. I think this is his chance to prove it. I think this year, with the time that he's had to rest up and, is coming off this injury, yes, but, has had a full offseason to deal with it. I think that motivation, we were just talking about the contract year motivation for the receivers down in Cincinnati, but I think you kind of look at, if you're Deshaun, you kind of look at your legacy here a little bit, right? You see, this is it. This is my chance to prove that I'm any type of worthy quarterback to ever have played in the NFL. Because if all we have is those couple years in Houston, and he fizzles out after a few injuries and he's injury prone forever, can't avoid injuries, obviously. But, I think we look at Deshaun in a very different way. If the Browns do not make the playoffs this year with Deshaun being healthy the entire year, if he gets hurt, there's a different conversation for Deshaun specifically. But I think this is his year. This is it pretty much for him, I think. On the defensive side of the ball, that is probably the scariest team in the NFL right now. Myles Garrett's never going to be not scary to line up across from. But, I mean, we saw it last year. What were they giving up? 14 points a game, something like that?
It was like,
if you can keep it 10 to 14 points a game that you're giving up throughout an entire season, you're going to win some football games, and that's what we saw last year with Joe frickin' Flacco leading the offense. So I really like the 8.5. I think they smash this.
Wow.
Honestly, I think they smash it with or without Deshaun. But as I was mentioning, I think that's a little more extra motivation for Deshaun going into this season. So,
yeah, and last year you did take Browns to make the playoffs, which cashed for you.
That's my biggest thing too. Is the Browns have been good to me all these years, so I gotta keep showing them love.
Yeah, but it's I think this is actually the second or third time where you've had conflicting picks that go against each other in the same week. So the good news is one of you is guaranteed to win that.
There we go. We're getting at least one season long there.
Yeah, so we're guaranteed to be at least one win. If worst comes to worst. I'll go ahead and give mine real quick.
So I'm going with actually, let me back up here. So when I was looking at a lot of lines for this, it's kind of hard picking a win total for teams or to make the playoffs because it's the books are not idiots. A lot of the ones you're like, oh yeah, I think I don't know. Initially, I like the Texans to win 8-9 games. It's like minus 175 to win 9 games. That's just terrible value. It's hard to find one where you think you're getting a decent value versus oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. So without further ado, I went ahead and took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over 7.5 wins. I got this at minus 140. Not great value, little juiced. I got this at ESPN bet, but I just think that this is definitely going to happen based off of what the schedule lines up with. They're in the NFC South. They play the Carolina Panthers and the Saints twice. I'd say that's a bare minimum 2 wins right there in those 4 games. Yeah. I'm counting them up right now just for the fans here. They play the Falcons. They play the Falcons. I'll be generous and say they split. I think worst case scenario, they split with the Falcons. Tampa Bay's a decent team. They really showed up with Baker in the second half of last season. Right now, we're already up to 3 wins. That's already halfway there. That's half in the division. They played the Commanders week 1, win. They play the Lions at Lions. All right, we'll say they lose that one. They play at home versus the Broncos. That's a win. That's 4. They play the Eagles. I think that's a 50-50 game. They just beat them in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Never know. All right, they got a few hard games here. They got, I'll be honest, they got 3 really hard games right here. They got Ravens, Chiefs, 49ers. All right, those are 3 games.
That's a 3-game stretch?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Right. Yes. 4-week stretch. They had the Falcons in between there. Okay. Not much better. But then again, they played the Panthers, the Raiders, the Saints. I mean, they're just mixing in a lot of teams here that I just think they're very beatable. And I think 8 wins for this team is very doable. I think, again, to be honest, I think they give the Falcons a good shot to win the division. And I think I like them to make the playoffs. I don't know the value on that, but I think in the weaker NFC, I think the Buccaneers will make the playoffs. Jot it down. Are you?
Yeah, it really just comes down to Baker. Can he replicate what he did last year? I don't know. I mean, he's got weapons. Mike Evans is obviously a beast. Godwin's a beast. Their running back, he's all right. Can he keep the maturity up and make plays? I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, and Baker, I think definitely. I used to be the biggest Baker hater. I think he was a whiny guy, not a big guy about action. But I think he definitely hurt himself playing through all those injuries in Cleveland. But I think he definitely rebranded himself in the best of way possible last year.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've brought it up a few times now. You know, that contract year motivation, 100%. It's the third time I brought it up. He was given a 1-year contract in Tampa. It wasn't even guaranteed the starting spot. He had if you remember the last preseason, he was fighting for that spot.
Cut out of Trask.
Yes, and ended up winning it, and just throws his best stat season out, you know, of his career down there in Tampa. I think that was the best thing for him. I think that success is going to continue for them. I do like this bet. You know, Todd Bowles being a defensive-minded coach that he is, you know, if Baker can hang on over there, then he's going to get the job done over on the defensive side of the ball. My only slight concern is, and I'm blanking on his name, Carolina's head coach they just hired was.
I actually don't know who that
he was Tampa's offensive coordinator last year.
Oh.
You know, he made that thing run for Baker and oversaw all of that. That is my only concern on the Tampa side of the ball, but yeah, good bet nonetheless.
Thank you. It's that time of the show. Time for our Shame-Ful Locks. These are our best bets. I know these are usually going to be our ones that are sorry, I was laughing there at Blake doing the Dame time there. These are supposed to be our bets that are least chance to lose, but some of us did it a little bit as the I don't know. Well, I can't really think of the wording, but Blake, you'll see when you get to Blake's. I'll be honest, and I don't mean that in that bad way. It's you know, you're taking one of a little you're taking a shot here.
What you talking about? It's a shot.
Hey, it hit last year. That's all that matters.
It hits every year he doesn't get injured.
It made him the biggest winner last year, didn't it?
Yeah, he won like 9 units off of it last year.
Come on, boy.
Without further ado, Blake, what's your first Shame-Ful Lock of the season?
First Shame-Ful Lock. If you guys have watched anything previously, you know that I'm one of the biggest TJ Watt defenders, best defensive player in the league, and he's going to be the sack leader again. It's easy. It's an easy bet. It's an easy win. Plus 500 on FanDuel. I mean, he's got the most sacks in the league since like 2016, and he wasn't even in the league in 2016. No sign of slowing down. I was going to go with the Defensive Player of the Year prop, but that bullshit's all political. Don't really want to get into that yet, but I could if I wanted to, and it'd be funny as hell. But yeah, he's the best defensive player in the league. He gets to the quarterback the best, the easiest, quickest. He gets the numbers. He doesn't have the best pass rush win rate in the league, but since that matters a lot. Regardless, TJ Watt, sack leader, plus 500. Take it if you want some money. So
yeah, I know that it cashed for you last year. And all I can say is Blake, diehard PFF subscriber.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't seem like it.
This guy hates PFF more than anything.
Yeah, they're not the best in the game. I'll tell you that. There are no Shame-Ful Locks with their analysis.
I don't need any cases, so I don't want any defamation. So I'm
sure. Yeah, I'll blur out where you say PFF.
Okay.
No copyright.
Perfect. All right, Tim.
First of all, Blake, good pool. I stick with what works. That's what I did with the Browns. Stick with what works. Keep it going. You know, I love it. For my Shame-Ful Lock of the year, my first one, I kind of wanted to follow Blake's suit here and go with a player on my team to kind of root for all season. And this one, while tough, because I don't love the situation in which it happened. You know, as many of you know, we traded Aaron Jones in the offseason. Not much to my chagrin, but to my chagrin in some sort of way. I was a big Aaron Jones fan, big Aaron Jones supporter. His production was, you know, always off of the charts. He was one of the most efficient players on our team, you know, year in and year out. Plagued with injuries, getting old. I get it. I get the move. We bring in Josh Jacobs from Las Vegas, who last year had a very down year, but I think that gave us the opportunity to maybe pay him a little less. than what he would have looked for if he was coming off of a big year. So maybe I see the big picture there. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs over 925 and a half season-long rushing yards. That's at minus 112 on FanDuel. I like that number for a couple reasons. First one being Josh Jacobs himself. This is his 6th year in the league, which, is getting up there for a running back, but in at least the modern NFL. But, in 3 of those 5 seasons, he's gotten over the 1,000-yard mark, which is big. Obviously, he did have injuries, a few injuries last year. I think a couple years ago he did too, but 3 out of those 5 years, he's hitting over the 1,000-yard mark. Once again, this over-under's at 925.
And a half.
Sorry. Make sure he gets that half yard. And the second reason is the system and the situation he's in up in Green Bay. We know I'm fully behind Jordan Love now. That was not the case at the beginning of last season. Cautious optimism was what I described it as last year. Now that we're paying him the GDP of Venezuela to play quarterback for us, I'm behind him. I'm with him. I support him fully. I expect a big year out of him. But as we know how the game of football works, if you're successful through the air, defenses are going to start dropping 8 on you, and that's going to open the run game wide open. Matt LaFleur's offense has always kind of worked like that with Aaron Jones as a complement to the passing game. Matt LaFleur's running backs have never been a focal point unless we're playing Dallas. That's a different situation. Then we just let him absolutely tear them up. But Aaron Jones' last full season had injuries last year. Aaron Jones' last full season that he played blew past that 1,000-yard mark as well. So I think it's kind of a perfect storm culmination of a younger running back than Aaron Jones kind of coming into a situation where he's not going to be he doesn't need to be the guy. With our flurry of wide receivers and Jordan Love coming into his own, he's going to be that second option and kind of thrive in that situation that he's in, given that we are able to dictate games the way we want to. So
yeah, I like that pick. I think I'm not a Packers fan, but I think Josh Jacobs is better than Aaron Jones. I'll be honest. I think I'm really surprised it's not a little higher. I kind of thought this line would be a little over 1,000. Maybe it is some other books, but I like this one. I'm probably going to go ahead and tail that one.
Yeah. He's just in a way better situation. Him for the Raiders, their O-line was pretty bad, not great. And then he's battling those injuries, just a dysfunctional team, way better situation. So that I expect him to probably hit 1,000 this year. So
absolutely. That was a big thing too for me, was that he was, with whatever was going on at the quarterback spot over in Vegas last year, he was forced into being, hey, Josh Jacobs has to have a night tonight or we don't have a shot at winning, when they were playing, when he was healthy. So I think this helps him a lot more, going to a team with an established pass game, a young, savvy head coach coordinator that understands that the run game's not going to be how we win games. There'll be games where we need it, yes, and that's how we're going to win. But our desire is to establish, the air raid quick pass game, and then kind of work the play action after that. Once we establish a run game after that, so I think it's a way better situation. And if he can stay healthy, I think he'll blow past this 925.5 mark.
Yeah, I like it. All right, my turn. And I feel like it's unfortunate. I always take Ohio State guys, but they're good. I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr. over 5.5 receiving touchdowns for my first Shame-Ful Lock of the year. I got this at minus 135 on BetMGM. I just think that he's going to blow past this. I think he's probably going to get at least 7 to 8. I think the Cardinals are going to be a really interesting team this year. I don't know if they'll win a lot, but I think they'll be a really competitive team. They have Kyler back. I know they lost some receivers like Rondell Moore and stuff like that. I think they lost them actually late last season via trade, but still, Marvin is going to be their go-to guy. It's him and Trey McBride essentially on this offense. That's pretty much all they got. I think Kyler is going to be out on a good revenge tour because he's finally healthy and going to be able to have a full season back. He's going to find his brand new weapon in Marv. and just get down to work. I think 6 touchdowns for a guy of his talent. I think, especially him being their biggest weapon and probably not to say their only weapon because Trey McBride does exist and they do still have James Conner. But I think in the passing attack, I think a lot of this offense is going to resolve around him. Yeah. A lot of other books, this line is at 6.5 and it's plus money. I'm playing it safer and taking the 5.5. Just give me 6. We'll call it even and call it 6.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're really Arizona offensively. I'm not sure about their line really, but I think your 2 worries for Arizona. One of them is not Marvin Harrison. I think that's where you have something pretty much set in stone. They said after or during last college football season that he's the most NFL ready wide receiver in the country, and I fully believe that. I think your 2 worries on the offensive side of the ball in Arizona are James Conner getting a little old. Age, is getting up there. You guys obviously remember him playing for Pittsburgh, but and your only other worry is that Call of Duty is dropping a new game this November, I believe. So that's going to take a big chunk out of Kyler Murray's time come down the end of the season. So we'll hope that slinging touchdowns to Marv is still on his mind and it's not his kill-death ratio.
All right. So we'll really need to sit here and think all right, if Marv hasn't gotten 6 by the date of Call of Duty dropping, it's not happening.
It might not happen.
It might not.
Because the film study is going to plummet.
Shit, Mark, why the hell did you run a slant?
That was the play call.
Listen, the coach. Nah, said Tyler. But yeah, that'll wrap us up for our preseason picks. We'll be back for week 1, and I think when do we usually drop these? You're our chief editor here.
Wednesday is I think when we try and get it, so we can get it in front of the Thursday game.
Yeah, we usually don't have a pick for Thursday, but we usually try to drop Thursday or Friday. We usually try to keep, try to get these out
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, but he's our chief editor and our supreme leader, so we go as far as he does, as normal.
Big year, boys. Contract year.
Contract
year. It's a big topic today. You guys are in that situation too.
Hey, maybe if we win every single bet, Fox will pick us up next year. We could replace Skip Bayless.
There you go. Replace him on that 11 o'clock hour. Yeah.
Hey, I got to take my lunch break. I got to go take a quick hour-long Shame-Ful Locks break.
Do it live. That'd be fun.
That would be sweet. Maybe we'll get Lil Wayne on there to do the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sweet.
Like he did Undisputed. Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Lil Wayne could probably beat out our guitar little thing. Maybe we could mix Lil Wayne. We could get the guitar thing. We'll talk this out when Fox reaches out.
We'll figure it out then.
Yeah. But inevitably, when we win all of our bets, reach out to us, Fox.
Blake, how you feeling about this season, man? Gonna be a good year or what?
Yeah, I totally just didn't understand conversation you guys just had, but yeah, sounds good. Looking forward to winning some bets, watching some football. Just something to get you through the week. Something to look forward to on Sundays. So let's do it.
Tired of betting on baseball. I'll be honest. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I hate baseball.
I had exactly $0.00 in my FanDuel from March until now. So I needed a big break, and recalibrate the barometers, recalibrate the radars for this football season. That's going to be fantastic. Obviously, I'm more of a college football guy personally. Still love the NFL game, but college football Saturdays, NFL football Sundays. It's a vibe that is unmatched, almost across the universe. So I'm very amped. I'm very pumped. I'm excited to see you guys do your thing week in and week out.
Thank you. I know you last year you only shut up 5 times to work, but I'm not saying that you weren't here because again you are the supreme leader and you did all the editing.
Look, I'm not a lead from the front type of manager. All right, I'm gonna let you guys do your thing, and I'm gonna oversee it. But I'll make a few appearances this year. I'm checking my watch, like the time of day matters with when I'm going to make my appearance. But what did I do? I think I did a week. I did like a mid-season and then came in the end of the year. Or?
You showed up a lot towards the end of the season.
Okay.
I think you did 2 playoff episodes and a Super Bowl.
That's probably what I'll do again.
But yeah, I'll be honest. I'm going to go ahead and set the line right now. Over 4.5 appearances from Supreme Leader this season.
Over 4.5.
I'm taking the over. I'm going to take the over. Mostly because I'll text you and spam you and just be like, hey,
time to get tampering.
Time to get to work.
Let's get Mike DeWine into that story, and he'll ban some betting again. What an idiot.
I hate Mike DeWine.
Mike DeWine, not for Ohio governor. This is Tim Triplett's vow to not endorse Mike DeWine for governor.
I don't know who the other option is.
I don't either. It doesn't matter to me.
Do they? My first question is, do you allow college player props? Mike DeWine says no. Yeah, whoever else got my vote. What's your stance on anything else? I only care about college player props.
Blake, do they still have college player props in the mystery state that you're living in right now?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
All right, well, there you go, people, folks at home. You can narrow it down. What state is Blake in? Let's see it in the comments. I want everyone's guess. Shane, don't comment. We know you know.
Based off that lighting, I'm feeling Minnesota.
Yeah, you're right.
Betting Cleveland, Minnesota. I feel like that's a state that it's not.
It probably isn't. Anyway, that'll wrap us up for the preseason future bets. We'll see you again week 1. This guy probably won't, but we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise us.
I'm not going to be there.
Fuck. Hey, that's a wrap us up.